This is Southern Cross News with Rachel Williams.
Good evening, everyone. Tasmania is bracing for its most dangerous bushfire day this summer, with a total fire ban declared for much of the state tomorrow. Additional firefighting resources are on standby, and police will be targeting known arsonists to reduce the chance of a rapid fire.
An emergency service briefing ahead of the most dangerous bushfire day this season. Tasmania's North, South and King Island are on high alert, with a total fire ban declared from midnight tonight. 230 fire brigades are on standby. Strike teams set to target the Midlands, Upper Derwent and East Coast.
Strike teams are stood up in the high-risk areas and they're ready to respond with a greater weight of attack. They'll be supported with aircraft and also the incident management teams.
Police will target known and suspected arsonists to reduce the chance of a deliberately lit blaze. Tomorrow's hot, dry and windy conditions, expecting to see flames spread rapidly and uncontrollably.
We'll identify where we think it's appropriate to visit people and have a discussion with them, to monitor them. But we'll do that on a case-by-case basis, so that's a decision that we make.
Meteorologists expect hotter conditions than previously forecast. Parts of the state set to soar to 35 degrees after months of dry weather.
Over the last 3 months, averagely we've had just below average rainfall, and given the heat we've had over the last couple of months, the fuels have dried out significantly. 9
vegetation fires are being monitored, including the recent blaze at Georgetown. Investigations ongoing after the threatening fire was deemed deliberate.
We've done an audit of all fires around the state and we've got active patrolling or management of those fires. There's no fires that are uncontained or uncontrolled.
I would encourage the community to be our eyes and ears on the ground, to report suspicious activity, to take video if they can, to get descriptions, to get registration numbers.
The public is also being urged to stay vigilant across the day tomorrow and have a bushfire survival plan in place. We cross live to our reporter Jacqueline Robson at the Tasmanian Fire Service headquarters. Good evening, Jacqueline. What can people do to stay safe?
Well, Rachel, it's being regarded as a severe bushfire risk for tomorrow, so people across the state should really have a bushfire survival plan ready to go. Now, that includes preparing your home, getting rid of dry vegetation around the property, also having a quick exit strategy in case a fire does threaten homes. Now, for those in the high-risk area, there is a total fire ban. That means that all outdoor fires are prohibited. Some work practices are also banned, and all fire permits have been suspended automatically. Now, there will be a cold front crossing the state on Saturday night. That will provide some relief. But Rachel, in any case, the best thing the public can do is be prepared.
Yeah, good advice there. Thank you for that, Jacqueline. Jacqueline Robson there in Tasmania Fire Service headquarters. Well, a Ravenswood primary school has had a close call after an arson attack destroyed a shed adjoining its kindergarten facilities last night. The Tasmania Fire Service was alerted to the Ravenswood Heights primary school blaze just after 8 o'clock. Fire investigators and insurance assessors were on the scene this morning.
They're so dirty. Community, obviously, it's extremely disappointing with this sort of behaviour. I mean, the consequences could have been far worse. Initial indications were that the value estimate was $45,000. I'm now told this afternoon that that's approximately $75,000 to $80,000 now.
Tasmania Police urges anyone who witnessed suspicious activity in the area around the time of the incident to contact Crime Stoppers. Tasmanian Alkaloids plans to ramp up production of medicinal cannabis for the export market after changes to federal laws. But those in need of the drug in the state say not enough is being done to ensure access locally. One Tasmanian family accessing the product illegally today expressing frustration.
For 20 years, Lynn Cleaver has used cannabis to treat her son Jeremy's epilepsy.
It manages his seizures quite effectively, and also other symptoms, post-encephalitis symptoms and his brain injury. It helps with different things with that as well.
She says despite the country moving forward, announcing it will permit exportation of the drug for medicinal use internationally, there's still major issues accessing it legally at a local level.
Personally, with our experience, we've been waiting 4 months now on Jeremy's application. Some people aren't even getting past their GPs. The GP's saying, no, I won't write a referral to a specialist.
Following the federal government's changes to the exportation laws yesterday, the state government says the reason for the hold-up with patient access here in Tasmania is partially due to a lack of specialists able to refer its use.
We've had a drought on neurologists for well over a decade since the late Stan Shaker passed away in 2007. It's been a very difficult area to recruit to.
The State Health Minister then announcing it has offers on the table for not one but two neurologists, considering making the move to Tasmania. But the Greens argue that could be months away, and that if people aren't given faster access, they will be forced to continue breaking the law.
Patients like Lynn Cleaver's son are still having to use the homegrown crop because they're unable to access medicinal cannabis.
When it comes to cannabis, it's a medicine for Jeremy, just the same as everything else was. So we're at the point now where if the government will not provide him with illegal cannabis medicine, we would like them to register us as personal home growers.
Jessie Gilmore, Southern Cross News.
A man and a teenage boy killed in a crash on the East Tamar Highway had been travelling on a stolen motorbike at high speeds and along a levee bank before the fatal incident in January 2016. The coroner found Ethan Charles Rushton, 17, and his pillion passenger Christopher Peter Kearns, 31, had also taken illicit substances before they rode into the path of a Toyota Hilux at the Mowbray Link junction. The findings stated the ute driver could not have avoided the collision given the manner in which the bike was manoeuvred. Tasmania Police is appealing to the public for help in locating a driver involved in a hit-and-run crash in the Launceston CBD. The two-car smash occurred on the corner of York and Wellington Streets around 2 p.m. on December 12. Police would like to speak to the driver of a white Hyundai sedan with a registration starting with EO.
Unless we have eyewitnesses at the scene, obviously, or other parties involved, or we're able to make a formal identification in relation to the driver, or potentially CCTV footage, we are hamstrung, yes, in advancing that investigation and charging people that should be charged and brought to account.
Anyone with information can contact Crime Stoppers either by phone or online. Tasmania's peak business body has thrown its support behind a proposal for a new health precinct in Launceston. The state opposition is promising to build a co-located hospital, but there are fears it will threaten current hospital upgrades.
This is where Labor hopes a new private hospital will be built. As part of its latest election bid, the party is promising to create a master plan for a health precinct, including a co-located hospital with a Launceston General Hospital.
Labor's had conversations over the last period of time with a number of people who feel that we A, need a precinct plan, B, need to deal with the growing traffic demands and challenges around this site, and C, also need to look at ways to sustain a co-located service.
The plan is already supported by the Australian Medical Association, Tasmania's peak business body today welcoming the proposal.
We have two old campuses that clearly aren't working as well as they could. From our perspective, it makes sense to locate a private hospital as close to the public hospital as we can. We know that's easier for the clinicians, it's easier for patients.
Expressions of interest will determine which private company would build the expected $200 million hospital. The government claims the opposition is giving away public hospital land. Further accusations Labor is compromising upgrades to the children's ward.
We will not compromise on giving away land that's currently earmarked for the new and expanded children's ward here at the LGH, which is 30 years old, doesn't provide mental health facilities.
Labor's opportunity for an EOI, it is about saying how much you fit around the existing infrastructure. The children's ward will be existing infrastructure by that point.
The government is interested in a similar proposal for a co-located hospital by Calvary Healthcare. Its details are unknown.
But one thing I can say is that the government won't be doing what Ms White is proposing, which is giving away public land to a private company.
Jacqueline Robson, Southern Cross News.
Now a look at the day's business and finance with thanks to Tasplan, your local super fund. Australian shares have closed higher on broad-based gains, led by banking stocks and a materials sector boosted by rising commodity prices. The ASX 200 index has risen by 45.2 points. And a short time ago, the Australian dollar was trading at 78.54 US cents and 65.04 euro cents.
Darcy Short has had a bittersweet run in the BBL. The big hitting Hurricane managed 96 in last night's win over the Adelaide Strikers, but it was the second time in as many games he's fallen just shy of a century. Gilly had his crystal ball out pre-game.
And I reckon if Darcy Short plants a few sixes into this, the danger zone, they're going to be ready. You've been practising, kids?
And he was bang on the money.
Look out, that's six. It's going to keep going well over that short boundary into the crowd.
But Darcy Short wasn't done there.
Belted.
That's on the roof as well.
Knocking 4 beautiful sixes into the crowd.
Oh, that's crisp again. Backtracking his mid-on. Keep going, son. You're not going to get that.
Short was confidently marching to triple figures, but the Strikers got their man in the end.
Oh, it's carved. It's out again. It's out again. He's fallen short again. 96.
A painful finish for the opener. Last night was the second time in as many games he's gotten out in the 90s. And today, he could barely hide his disappointment.
The first innings I wasn't. Second innings I was a bit more disappointed getting there the second time and not actually finishing it off.
Short's only consolation is how his efforts carried the side. The Hurricanes ending the innings on 5 for 183 and the Strikers were in good touch.
He does. He does with conviction and power and gets another 6.
Travis Head and Colin Ingram putting on a 102-run partnership until Jofra Archer came to the rescue.
Does this chop up in the air? It's a man under it. Malenko taken.
Archer got his turn again in the last over and he delivered, shutting the Strikers down.
Brilliant bowling from Archer.
Even with the game in the bag, Archer wanted more.
Straight up in the air. Archer wants it. Watch him go. Watch it. Oh, he won't get it.
With figures of 3 for 15, Jofra was clearly enjoying himself.
For an overseas player coming in, he gives you a knowledge and he's a great vibe for the group and does well.
Next up for the Hurricanes is the Sydney Sixers on Monday night. French boat Give Me 5 has taken out the SB20 pre-Worlds in Hobart. Organisers describe today's conditions as champagne sailing, with an ideal sea breeze on the River Derwent. Give Me 5 claimed 3 of the 6 races in the pre-Worlds, while Tasmanian boats Export Roo and Aeolus took out 2nd and 3rd overall. The Hobart Chargers have locked in one of Australian basketball's in-demand players. Craig Moller, who is currently playing with the Melbourne United team in the NBL, has chosen the Chargers ahead of rival clubs interstate and overseas. A dominant season for Melbourne United
So fast, but blocked by Moller.
has landed Craig Moller a spot in the Hobart Chargers. But like any rising star, his signature hasn't come easy.
He turned down some really good offers to come.
The Chargers say Moller was being hunted by clubs in New Zealand with deep pockets.
They've got a 12-week league over there. It's pretty attractive for them. It's short, it's sharp, and it's more money than we can offer in the Seabold.
Hobart's the latest stop in Moller's ever-changing career. He played one game for Fremantle in the AFL before crashing into the Sydney Kings squad and then Melbourne United.
We need him to put up big numbers and really take control of the team.
He's chosen to come to us, and I think that's a great vote of confidence.
Meanwhile, the Launceston Tornadoes have announced Lauren Nicholson will return for 2018. The 24-year-old converted 86% of shots from the free throw line last season. And in tennis, the Hobart International has unveiled its new trophy for the women's singles. It honours the late Angie Cunningham, who was once the junior world number 2. The Launceston player lost her battle with motor neurone disease in 2016.
We've got a really strong main field and looking forward to getting underway.
The draw for the Hobart International comes out tonight.
Good evening. Hobart 20 today, got nice and warm in Launceston 27, Burnie 25 and Devonport a top of 21. Cressy the high with 28 as fine weather prevailed, even though it was cloudy at times over some regions. Bushy Park 26 degrees, Wynyard and Sheffield 25, Campania and Fingal 24, Grove and Friendly Beaches 23, Flinders Island and Low Head 22 today, King Island, Strawn, Lyowini and St Helens 21. Now on the cloud sequence there is a bright band of cloud over the Southern Ocean just to the west of Tasmania. Thunderstorm Storm activity is over the northeast of the country, while the rest is under a high pressure zone and mostly cloud-free. Some low-level convective cloud found its way over the state today, and to use a highly technical term, there is some wispy high cloud that streamed in from the southwest. Tomorrow, a cold front looms to our west, and with the high to the east, northerly winds will be directed over Tasmania. A pair of low-pressure troughs lie through central and western Australia. North to northeasterly winds tomorrow increasing to 20 to 30 knots in the mornings, although more easterly and lighter through Bass Strait. A bit to tell you about here. A fire weather warning has been issued for southern and eastern Tasmania and King Island. We have a severe fire danger in the southeast, Upper Derwent Valley and the Midlands, and a very high fire danger for the rest of the state. With that, a gale warning for waters between Southeast Cape and Low Rocky Point, a strong wind warning from St Helens Point to Southeast Cape, and from Low Rocky Point to Sandy Cape, a small craft wind alert for the lake. So hot and windy tomorrow. 34 for Hobart, maybe a shower for Medina, 32 degrees and 30 for Oatlands. Launceston, a similar forecast, partly cloudy and 30, 26 for Devonport and 25 for Lyre-Weenie. For Burnie, partly cloudy and 26, a late shower moving in over Strawn after a hot day, 31 and 27 for Marrawar. And in the east, hot and partly cloudy, St Helens 30, 34 for Swansea and 32 for Orford. And the UV, of course, well into the extreme range. On Sunday, fine and sunny over the north and a clearing shower for the west and far south. Showers over the west on Monday, increasing during the morning, but fine and partly cloudy elsewhere, and a few showers contracting to the southwest on Tuesday, otherwise fine. Sunny and 29 in Perth, Adelaide 41 and Melbourne 42 ahead of a cooler change. Sunny weather forecast for Canberra, Sydney, Brisbane and Alice Springs with 42 on the cards there. Partly cloudy in Hobart, it's 19, 23 in Launceston at the moment. Devonport partly cloudy as well and 18 degrees. Please do keep in mind that severe and very high fire danger tomorrow. And of course, I've taken extreme lengths to make sure that all my beverages are nice and chilled for the weekend, Rach.
I'm sure you have. Thank you for that, Murph. Well, that's all your news for now. Thanks for joining us. I look forward to your company over the weekend. Bye for now.